Hold on. Wow. Day one. Okay. I think we're good now. My apologies. How's everybody doing? Welcome to day one. I'm glad you're here. This is day one of the lease options blueprint. If you can, please type in the Zoom, not the Zoom, the Facebook chat messenger comment thing right now. Comment that you can hear me and see me. I'm going to mark this as an announcement. And can you guys hear me? All right. Super cool. I'm going to open this up and then mute myself so I can't hear myself. We are good to go. Apologize for the delay here. I was posting my video and Facebook was telling me that they're not going to show the video until they can verify that I'm obeying all of the listing sale rules, like when you list something. Oh, good. I'm getting the comments here. Yes. Hi, Shelly, Marcus, Joe, Rafi, Marie. Good morning, guys. Elvina. All right, nice. I'm glad you're here. Sorry for the delay. I was stressing out. All right, should we get started then? Welcome to day one of the lease option blueprint. Super glad you're here. And I'm going to move my camera over yonder so I can see what is going on. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, good. I just want to make sure you guys are here and you're seeing me. I'm seeing the love. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was stressful. All right, so I'm going to show you something really cool here. I've got a mind map. And want to welcome you guys here. All right, let me share my screen. Cool. You guys can see my screen, right? If you can, type in the Facebook group. Hey, yeah, Joe, I can see your screen. Get to it. Sound is good. Hi, Teresa from Maryland. Tracy, audio is good and clear. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so this, if you're watching this, you can see where I'm at, but all of my videos are going to be in the announcements section of this Facebook group. Cool. All right, so I'm looking here at the comments. Hope you don't mind me looking the other way. You can kind of see what's going on. Nice. All right, so all the videos, today's day one, and day two is going to be tomorrow, right? And all of my videos are going to be in the announcements section of this Facebook group, right? So if you wanted to go, and all these videos will be up for the entire week. Now I'm taking them down next week. Next week, I'm shutting the group down and going to be removing all the videos. So all these videos will be up for the entire week. So if you want to see them, they're in the announcement section, okay? I also got a special thing here for VIPs, and a lot of you guys have already signed up for this. I wanted to give people a way to get lifetime access to these videos. So if you sign up for VIP, and the link should be in the comments above, not in the comments, but the video here. And I'm going to actually add it to the comments also, VIP access. Let me see if I can paste this in the comments. All right, so I just put in the comments myself if you can see it, but it's also in the description of this video. If you want access to lifetime access to the recordings of these videos, you can get it there. And at the end of this class today, I'm going to be doing a live Zoom Q&A call. So if you want to join in on the Q&A call, I'm going to answer all your questions when this is done. You also get access to this mind map. I'm going to give you I'm going to be sharing a lot of things with you: contracts, templates, scripts, calculators, documents, and more. And so you can get access to this mind map as a VIP member. And I'm going to be removing VIP access on Tuesday at midnight. So that's tomorrow night at midnight. All right. Also, just again, remind you, this Facebook group closes about 2 or 3 days after it's over. All the videos will be taken down. Everyone will be removed from the group. Cool. All right, you guys are here. I got a lot of people on. Nice. And I want to encourage you guys to interact and comment with these videos, right? So I know you're watching me live now. Some of you are watching later. I want to hear from you. I want to know from you guys what's going on. What are some of the things you're hoping to get out of this group? What are some of your big takeaways? And I encourage you to hold yourself accountable to the group as well. If you've got a goal, if you've got something that you learned from this, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. This is going to be me. All right. If you want to just put it out there and so people can hold you accountable, this might be the best place to do that. I want to know from you guys, what are you hoping to get out of this group? What are some of your big takeaways watching these kinds of videos? Okay. Other thing is, I want to encourage you all, be nice, right? We're here to help you and support you. I'm going to remove any whiners or complainers from the group. We just don't need that here. And also no spam allowed. So if you are here with an agenda to try to sell something or, to try to spam the group, I have zero spam tolerance policy for spammers. So I don't care if I'm friends with you and I like you, and I probably do. If you try to sell things or spam the group, I'm going to kick you out with love. Okay. So there's a lot of resources I'm going to be giving to you here. And again, when this video is done, I'm going to be going into the description of the video and adding a lot of these links in the description of this video. And a lot of these links are already under the announcements section. I have an area there for important links. But again, to get this mind map, all the documents, the recordings, the private Q&A calls, all you need is a VIP access. The link for that is in the description of this video. Some of you guys already have my flagship lease options course. Some of you don't. And if you want to get it, I'd encourage you to go to sloclass.com. That's my course. That's my main course where I deep dive into what lease options are and how to do them, how to make a full-time income doing lease option deals. If you want to watch my webinar on how to do that, go to sloclass.com. I'm going to be doing a lot of things on FreedomSoft. If you want to watch a webinar on how to get hundreds of leads in under 10 minutes, go to hundredsofleads.com. It's a webinar I did with Rob Swanson. FreedomSoft is the main CRM that I use. I also use PropStream a lot. You'll see me use FreedomSoft and PropStream a lot in this class. So I'm just telling you, I'm giving you kind of the tools I use. Cool. And I have a podcast as well. If you want to get to check out my podcast, I release 3 episodes a week. Go to realestateinvestingmastery.com or check out my YouTube channel. Okay, just go to YouTube and do a search for Joe McCall. I do a lot of content in there. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. So a lot of you guys, I just want to mention this too. A lot of you already have my flagship lease options course. So this is going to be a review for everything I've done, but it's going to be good for you to get this review to kind of just come back to the simple basic things. Okay. If you don't have FreedomSoft yet, I highly, highly recommend this. Go check out my webinar, hundredsofleads.com, and PropStream. I use PropStream and FreedomSoft every single day. And I'm going to put links to these after this video is done. I'm going to put links to these things in the description of this video, so you can just probably see it above. Now I'm going to be doing some participation prizes. I don't know yet, but I'll be announcing that later. And if you have any questions or need any help with anything, I want you to email support@joemccall.com. And we also have a text where you can message us. Okay, here we go. You ready? If you want to text us, you can actually text my support team, 249-1510. All right. So if you want to email us or text us, 636-249-1510. All right. 636-249-1510. And my team is here to help you. And I've already given them several warnings. They're tired of me telling them, hey, I'm going to be telling people if you need help with anything. If you've signed up for VIP access, you want to know where's the link, where's the Zoom link to get to the extra Q&A coaching calls. How do I get this mind map? Whatever. You can email support@joemccall.com or text my team at 636-249-1510, and we will do everything we can to help you. I've already warned them and I told them, all right, we're probably going to get a lot of help. So I'm glad you're here, guys. Welcome. This is day 1. And first thing I want to talk about here is focusing on your strong why. We're going to be talking about what is a lease option. I'm going to be diving into an example deal. I'm going to give you step-by-step how to do it. And I'm going to show you a little plan to get $10,000 in 3 to 4 years. I'm going to give you some homework. Okay. But this is important to understand your big why. And a lot of this you've heard before, but for me, this was really important. Okay. Excuses happen when your why is not big enough. Okay. Do you understand what I mean by that? Let me get out of this. Excuses happen when your why is big enough. You've got to have a big why if you're going to succeed in this business. For me, my why is my family. Okay. Simple. I have an awesome, beautiful wife, amazing kids, 4 kids. We've adopted all 4 of our kids. I am the most blessed man in the world. And for me, my big why is my family. Okay. I want them to have a safe, secure home to live in. I want them to have safe, secure income. I don't want to be out on the streets begging for food. I don't want to be homeless. I want to take care of my family. So for me, they're my big why. And I also want to give back to the community. I want to be able to give back to people. This is why I do the podcast and the YouTube videos and these free classes and Facebook. I want to give back. I want to help people also succeed and make a lot of money in real estate and quit their jobs, right? And so that's kind of why I do. So we all have whys, but is your why big enough? And if you have a big enough why, that's going to help you overcome all of your excuses, right? I'm too tired today. I'm too busy today. I got more important things to do, like watch YouTube videos and play video games. I don't know what it is, right? But if you have a big enough why and you can write it down and stick it in front of your computer or stick it on your forehead, you're going to stop making excuses. So excuses happen when your why is not big enough. And when you look at your kids or your spouse or your friends or your parents, whatever, right? Make a promise that you'll create the best life you can for them. When you look at your parents, make a promise that you'll retire them early. It's different for everybody, right? When you look at your spouse, make a promise that they'll never have to be worried about money. When you look at yourself, make a promise to live your best life. Super important, okay? And it's important to set your own expectations, because disappointment and discouragement happens when you don't manage your expectations. And let's set realistic expectations. I mean, we're not here to make $1 million in 30 days. All right. Let's have realistic expectations. Maybe it's just let's do one deal in the next 12 months. Like, that is so easy to do, guys. Let's just do one deal in the next 12 months. So write down your big why, stick it on your computer, your mirror, make this your mantra every single day. I want this to be in front of you so that you are, you're setting yourself up to succeed. Make sense? Now, this is really important. Creating a vision for your life first, and then creating a business around that. I just want to touch on this so much. So this is so important. So many of us, guys, we have our business, we have our job, we have our life, we have our business here, and our life, our work, our business is the center of our life, and everything else goes around that. One of the things that changed my life was when I figured out, I need to create a vision for my life first. What do I want my life to look like? All right. For me and my family, we wanted to homeschool. We wanted to live in a big house in the country, in the woods, with privacy. We wanted to be able to travel the world and be able to do deals while living anywhere in the world. We wanted to go in an RV for 3 months. We wanted to go live in Europe for 3 months. I wanted a business that was virtual, that I could run from anywhere in the world. And I wanted the freedom to be able to have a business with low overhead that was simple and easy to run, that could be run from anywhere in the world. And so I created a vision for my life. I wanted to be able to work from home. I wanted to be able to have coffee with my wife every morning and help my kids with school. So then I designed a vision for my life first, and then built a business around that. So I'm not here. If your big takeaway from this is creating another big business to become your new job, then I failed as your coach. I want you guys to have what I call stress-free abundance. Okay. We all want to make a lot of money, but what good is it going to do to make a lot of money to have this big business if you're completely stressed out, and you have tons of overhead, lots of employees and a huge amount of staff. And you're making $1 million, but your expenses are $999,000 a year. That doesn't make any sense. So let's figure out how can we make have an abundant lifestyle, a business that's making us a lot of money, but without all the stress and the hassle. So you may find that you don't need to make $1 million a year. You may only want to make $200,000 a year, and that's going to be enough to live very abundantly and to have zero stress. So let's create a vision for our life first, and then build a business around that. All right. I just want to touch on that. And the goal is to be a deal finder, not a deal creator. Now, what do I mean by that? This is important to understand. I wanted to put this at the beginning. When you're in real estate and you're hustling and you're doing the grind, you're out there sometimes, and sometimes it's easy to become the motivated buyer. And I don't want you to be the motivated buyer. I want you to focus on finding motivated sellers. So we're going to be, sometimes when you're just new and you're getting started, you're like, oh man, I think I got a deal. And you work so hard to try to turn this lemon into lemonade. And I'm here to tell you, stop doing that. Okay. I want you to be a deal finder, not a deal creator. You can only do deals with motivated sellers. And this is why follow-up is so important. No means just not yet. When the seller says no, that just means not yet. So you need to follow up, right? You're not going to try to, like I said before, turn a lemon into lemonade. We're not trying to turn a non-deal into a deal. We're just looking for deals. This takes out the stress of, I've got to find a deal. I got to find a deal. I got to do a deal right now. You do not want to become the motivated buyer. This is where you make a lot of mistakes. Okay, cool. All right, now let's dive into this. What is a lease option? Well, a lease option is where you have a lease with the option to buy a property. Make sense? You have a lease with the option to buy a property. And it's the ultimate control without ownership. I think Rockefeller said the secret to success in business is to own nothing and control everything. Let me repeat that. The secret to success in business is to own nothing and control everything. And that is what lease options help you do. They can help you control valuable real estate without actually owning it. Okay, cool. Now, I know a lot of people are coming in right now, and I'm seeing the numbers climb up. If you've missed the first 5-10 minutes, by the way, we started about 10 minutes late because I was having Facebook problems. But don't worry, this video will be live and kept in this Facebook group for the entire week. So if you've missed the first 10-15 minutes, and you're like, oh no, what did I do? What did I miss? The recording for this video will be in the Facebook group all this week. So on day 3, you can come back and watch day 1. Or you may think, oh man, this is so good, I want to watch it again. All of these videos will be in the announcement section of the Facebook group. So when you're in Facebook, just go to Lease Option Blueprint. You'll find this group because you're already here. You're in there. Click on the announcements and you'll see all of my videos in the announcement section. Are we clear on that? All right, good. I just want to make sure a lot of you guys are jumping in now and you're late and you're wondering where are the videos, and you finally found the video and you're now watching this. You're like, oh, what did I miss? We started 10 minutes late. All of these videos are going to be in the announcement section for the entire week. Good. I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate all of the comments and the feedback here in the Facebook. So why lease options, you may say? I love lease options. Well, why? It allows me to buy a property with none of my own money. I think it's the best way to build a portfolio of nice homes. We're not looking for junker properties in the hood. We're looking for nice homes in nice neighborhoods. And it's a great way to build long-term wealth. And there are 3 profit centers in a lease option deal. I'm going to be talking about this. There's cash now, cash flow, and cash later. If these deals, there's very little risk, very little competition, low overhead to run this business. It's very simple. You don't have to spend a ton of money on marketing. You don't have to spend any money on marketing, and you can do deals virtually. It's just as easy to do deals virtually as it is deals in your own backyard. So if you live in California, if you live in Texas, if you live in Iceland, you can do deals anywhere in the United States. You can do lease options pretty much anywhere in any country in the world, but I'm not going to teach you because I don't have the contracts for how to do lease option deals in Iceland. But anywhere where you can lease a property with the option to buy it in the future, you can do lease options. So again, lease options is one of the best ways to buy property without none of your own money. It's where you lease a property with the option to buy it in the future. Now, why would a seller ever want to do a lease option? Well, they can get a higher price for their house. They don't have to pay realtor commissions. They don't have to worry as much about the typical landlord headaches. They get someone in their house who's actually going to take better care of it because they actually want to buy it. It might give them some immediate debt relief. They don't have to worry about double mortgage payments anymore. Basically, a lease option is good for a seller who wants to sell their house right now, but maybe can't. Okay. Now, why would a tenant buyer is a tenant who lives in the property. Why would they want to do a lease option? Well, it gives them time to rebuild their credit. They can get a higher credit score. They can work on building up their credit score and to get a better mortgage later. They get to lock in a price. They get to call a home their own. They get to try it out before they buy it. They can rent it first and then buy it. They don't have to move when they're ready to get a mortgage. And they might even actually get some rent credits. You understand that? right, let me explain too about a lease option. Now, I'm going to be there's different strategies for lease options. I'm going to talk about this later, but it might be a good time to talk about this right now. The main strategy for a lease option is what is called a sandwich lease option. And I'm going to give you some resources here in a minute, some videos and a book that you can read and watch later. But a sandwich lease option is where you stay in the middle of the deal. So you have a seller who's got a house. All right. They're motivated. They don't have a ton of equity. They don't have as, they want to sell it, but maybe they can't. They got 2 mortgage payments. They don't want to be a landlord. And you come to them and say, hey, listen, I might be able to buy your house if you let me rent it for a year or so first. No, I'm not going to live in it, but I'm going to stay in the middle. I'm going to put a tenant buyer in it and I'm going to manage it. And I'm going to take care of it. You don't have to worry about anything. Cool. All right. So what you do then is you enter into a contract with the seller. It's called the A to B, where you are going to be the tenant buyer. You're going to lease it from the seller at a certain price. And I'm going to give you an example deal here in a minute with a spreadsheet. And we'll actually look at some numbers. I'm going to lease it from the seller at a certain price. And then I'm going to turn around and rent it to a tenant buyer who's actually going to live in the house. And I'm going to charge him a higher rent and I'm going to sell it to him for a higher price. So I typically have maybe 5 years with the seller, and I'm going to give the tenant buyer 2 years. All right. So if this tenant buyer buys it, if they get ready to a place to buy it, let's use simple numbers. I'm going to give the seller, let's say the house is worth $100,000 and it's $1,000 a month in rent. I'm going to give the seller a contract to buy their house sometime in 5 years for $90,000, and I'm going to pay them $800 a month in rent. So it's worth $100,000. I'm going to give the seller a contract to buy it, the option to buy it for $90,000 sometime in 5 years, and I'm going to pay the seller $800 a month in rent, which covers the mortgage payment. Then I'm going to turn around and sell it to a tenant buyer in 2 years for $110,000, and I'm going to rent it to them for $1,000. So what's my spread? My spread, I'm going to sell it for $105,000. I'm buying it for $90,000. So my equity spread is $15,000. I'm going to rent it from the seller for what? $800. I'm going to rent it out for $1,000. So what's my cash flow? $200 a month. Now, did I ever go out and buy this house? No. I'm renting it. I'm lease optioning it. It's a sandwich lease option. I'm staying in the middle. So when the tenant buyer gets ready to buy it, they're going to buy it for $110,000. I'm going to double close on it. So I'm going to buy it for $90,000, immediately turn it around and sell it for $110,000 or is that what I said? Something like $90,000, $110,000. So my equity is $20,000. I think I said 15, but you get what I'm saying. Okay. We'll actually walk through an example deal here with the numbers. So that's how you make money on these lease option deals. Okay. You stay in the middle, and there's 3 profit centers. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So we talked about why would a seller want to do a lease option? Why would a tenant buyer want to do a lease option? Why would you want to do a lease option maybe on one of your own properties? There's a lot of people here who have your own house, like an investment property, or you have a rental property or your own house and you want to sell it, but you don't want to, sell it. You pay the commissions. You want to maybe rent it out as a lease option. Well, why would you want to do that? Well, when you rent your house out, you're renting it to a tenant buyer, somebody who wants to buy the house. So they're better than your normal tenant. They're going to take better care of the home. They're going to take care of regular maintenance and repairs. They're more likely to pay their rent on time. Why? Because they put a large down payment up front. It's called an option deposit. It's a great way to sell your property for top dollar without paying any commissions. And there is a huge demand for these types of homes. So these tenant buyers that we're working with, they're typically, I like to call them penalty box buyers. They're good people that have a good reason for bad credit. Does that make sense? They're penalty box buyers. A lot of them are self-employed. They had a divorce. Something happened in the past. They have a good reason for bad credit. Now, I have a book called Simple Lease Options, and I'm going to share this link with you guys. So, obviously, if you have my class already, you have this stuff. But this is a book I wrote called Simple Lease Options. It's real similar to the webinar that I do at sloclass.com. And I cover some of my deals that I've done. And I walk through the steps on how to do all of this. So if you want this book, I'm actually going to paste it right now in the comments of Joe's Simple Lease Options book. Okay. And it will also be I just put it in the comments of below this video, but it's also, when this video is done, I'm going to put it in the description up above. Okay. I'm going to put it in the description up above. And again, if you want this mind map, join the VIP access, and you can get it here. Hold on one second. Let me just finish my notes. Okay. Now, there's some really good YouTube videos. I want to show them to you right now. You can find these videos if you go to, you can see my screen here. I'm going to YouTube. These are some videos from my YouTube channel. And if you just type in Joe McCall, and I want to encourage you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. I am almost up to 1 million views, which is crazy. I think you can see right here. Oh, I have more than this. I have 920,000 views. Anyway. All right. So if you go to my channel, I have a ton of videos here. I do about 2 or 3 videos a week. But here in this mind map, there's a video I did called Lease Options in Real Estate Simplified. If you don't have the mind map, just stop this video right now if you're watching the recording and write down these titles and go to YouTube and do a search for Joe McCall, Lease Options in Real Estate Simplified, Joe McCall, an example lease option deal, Joe McCall, how to do one lease option deal from one page. All right. So you can look up these videos and search for them, or just get VIP access. You get this mind map, and you can click on these links, and it's going to open these videos for you. And you can see ads from our friend, Jamil. All right. Skip the ads. All right. And I have these videos where I walk through example lease option deals. I explain it step by step, how they work. You can see the mind map that I have here. Let me switch accounts so you don't have to see all of these ads. All right, I just switched accounts there. And this one is an example lease option deal. And this is from my podcast. And I actually walk through the numbers of this. Is a small little lease option deal I did in Nebraska, a small town of 480 people. And in this video, I walk through, it's a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. We're getting about, what is the numbers here? Let me show you. Our cash flow on this deal. So I walked through, remember I said the A to B and the B to C. So this is my agreement with the seller. I'm buying it for 82 and I'm selling it to the tenant buyer for 95. I'm paying the seller $626 a month in rent, which is enough to cover the mortgage payment. And I'm renting it out for $950. I have 5 years with the seller, 3 years with the tenant buyer. We found a tenant buyer in this house before we even started advertising it. There's 3 profit centers. I walked through. We're making cash now up front, $3,000, making $324 a month in cash flow. And I'm making about $12,500 in equity. Guys, these are deals that are so easy to do. You could do just one of these a month. And the total profit on this deal is about $24,000. We never got a mortgage. The seller never looked at our credit. This is super easy. Okay, guys, I appreciate you all. Some of you are in the chat, like responding to people. I really appreciate it. If somebody is saying like, hey, what is the link for that book? If you can, just please copy and paste it for other people. I'd really appreciate that. Also, when this video is done, I'm going to go back into the description of this video and put in my important links in there. Okay, so this is a good video to watch. You guys should watch these videos. How to do a lease option deal from one page. 6 simple steps to do a lease option deal. I recorded this one while driving in a car. But it was safe because I had the phone on a stand. Oh no, my son was driving. So for some reason, this is one of my most popular videos, and people love that video. So you can check out the 6 steps to doing a lease option deal, and I show you how to make fast lease option offers in this calculator here. All right, so check out those YouTube videos. Now, cool. You can do these deals virtually or in your own local market from another state. People ask, should I do these deals in my backyard first? Yeah, I mean, try to do them in your own backyard. Some of you are like, man, I live in California. It's super expensive. I live in Texas where it's quote unquote illegal to do lease options. It's actually not. But whatever you are, you don't have to do deals in your own backyard. If you don't want, you can do them virtually in any market. I've done deals in probably over 20 something different states. Deals are just as easy to do virtually as they are locally in your backyard. Even if the deal was in my backyard in St. Louis, I would not go to look at the house. I prefer to do these deals from home. Now, can you do deals in small towns? Yes, I love small towns, and we'll be talking about that on the next video. Tomorrow's video, I'm going to be talking about marketing for sellers. Okay. And we'll be talking about how to look for deals in small towns. So here are the step-by-steps for doing a lease option deal. And I'm going to be covering this stuff over this week. Number one, you need a marketing plan. Real simple marketing plan. This is what I'm going to do every day. I'm going to show you tomorrow how to go in from your revenue, starting with your monthly revenue goal and working backwards from there to daily activities that you should be doing every day. So when you got your marketing plan, then you implement it. You send marketing to sellers. You talk to sellers. You send them an offer. If they say yes, you send them a contract. If they sign the contract, then you start marketing the property. Then you start getting applicants and you pre-screen your tenant buyers. When you find a good one, you sign paperwork with them. You stay in the middle. You manage the deal. And then in 2 years, maybe 3 or 4 years, I'll talk about that later too. When the tenant buyer is ready to get a mortgage, you're going to double close on the property. Okay. You're going to close on the A to B side, and you're going to turn around and then sell it on the B to C side, and you make the spread. Okay. Now here's an example deal from beginning to end. Let's talk about this. Let's look at marketing. And again, this is really high level, and I'm going to be diving into more detail tomorrow on this stuff. But I like to look for deals on Zillow. I like to go to the for rent, the for sale by owner section. I only typically do deals with nice homes in nice areas. I'm going to back up this mind map here real quick, just so I make sure I don't lose it. My internet's acting a little slow right now. All right, so I just backed it up. All right, now here's an example of what we'd look for in Zillow. I'm looking for 3 bedrooms, houses only, rents, somewhere in the median price range, 1,000 to 2,000. I'm looking for homes in the St. Louis area, 100 to 250,000, maybe 300,000. If you're in California, you'll be looking for houses more than that. It all depends on the market in the area that you're targeting. And as an example, here in this is an area of, this is St. Louis here. I'm looking for homes in the for rent section, price between 1,000 to 2,000, 3+ bedrooms, houses only. I typically don't like condos or townhomes in the Midwest because there are just fewer buyers that want them. All right. And so here we go. We've got 191 rental properties that are priced between 1,000 to 2,000 a month. Okay. And I just go through and I start contacting these people, and I'll be showing you how to do this tomorrow. But let's just look here at the newest. I sort this by newest, and I just contact the landlords, the property managers. This isn't actually refreshing, but I'll be talking about this tomorrow. Zillow, for some reason on Chrome, is giving me a hard time with not updating. So again, I'll be showing this tomorrow. But I'm looking for these nice homes, and I'm going to be contacting the landlords, the property managers, and I'm just going to be asking them, hey, do you want to sell this property? All right. I'm also looking for sale by owners in there as well. Now, what do I do when I find them? I send them a text, an email, a slide dial, a letter. I'm sending messages out to these landlords and for sale by owners. And I'm not it's not cold calling. I'm not text blasting 100,000 people at once. I only want to talk to people who raise their hands. And what do you say to them when they raise their hands? Like, hey, I saw your rental on Zillow. You wouldn't consider selling it, would you? I saw your house on Zillow. You're for sale by owner. You wouldn't consider maybe leasing it for a couple of years and then selling it, would you? And I saw your FSBO on Zillow. I'm an investor. Is your price negotiable? If they respond, if they say, yeah, maybe, I'm going to call them back. Simple as that. Okay. The other thing that I like to do that's super important, I'm going to add this right here. Other investors, dead leads. Oh my gosh. This is a gold mine, and I don't talk about it enough. I talk about it in my main flagship lease options course, but this is huge right here. Other investors, dead leads. There's a lot of investors out there that are doing a lot of marketing, Facebook, direct mail, Google pay-per-click, whatever, cold calling, text blasting, door knocking, driving for dollars. And they're getting a bunch of leads that they're throwing away because there's not enough equity in them, or the seller's maybe not motivated enough. And I'm going to show you, mainly teach you in my course, like this, guys, in others investors' dead leads is just a huge gold mine. You can approach other investors and say, listen, if you let me work your dead leads, I'll split the deal with you. And you find somebody else, work their dead leads. It's awesome. Okay. All right. You guys are asking and answering questions here in the comments, and this is brilliant. I really appreciate you guys and all your help here. All right. Now, after you find a seller that says, yeah, you got to talk to them. Okay. Now, my goal, and I'm going to encourage you all to do this, is to talk to 5 sellers a day. I'm telling you guys, if you talk to 5 sellers a day, you will never have to worry about money again. Did you just say that? Yeah. Let me repeat it. If you talk to 5 sellers a day, you will never have to worry about money again. That's what this business is. This isn't some secret magic red pill. All right. If you're not talking to sellers, you're not making money. I mean, I could end this whole 5-day masterclass right there. That's one of the most important things I'll tell you. Also, it comes down to this, guys. If you want to make money in real estate, you got to make offers. And if you want to make offers, you got to talk to sellers. If you want to talk to sellers, you got to do marketing. So that's kind of how this all works. It's pretty simple. Okay. And Kyle says right here, yeah, wow, 5, just 5. That's easy to do. Yes, it is easy to do, but most people don't do it. Most people talk to maybe 5 sellers in an entire month. That's right, Mike. We're not in the real estate investing business, guys. We're in the marketing business. We're in the sales and marketing business. So if you're not talking to sellers, you're not making money. If you're not making offers, you're not making money. So you should listen. And when you're talking to sellers, listen more than you talk. And I want to encourage you guys to be a reluctant buyer. And I'm going to give you a bunch of things here. I'm going to be covering this more in the how to talk to sellers section, which is, I believe, my day 3. But when we're talking about talking to sellers, I want you guys to be the reluctant buyer. I want you to not try to chase the seller. You're not trying to sell anything. You're just asking questions. You're not trying to chase them or sell them or convince them to do a lease option. You're just asking questions. And here are some example questions in this mind map. I don't have the time to cover all of this, but we're going to be diving deeper into this in the talking to sellers day, which I believe is day 3. So, I'm asking them questions. I'm not trying to sell them anything. And these are some of the questions that we like to ask them. We're going to cover that later. So check that out. Or you can get the mind map and go. Now, when we make offers, I like to do sandwich lease options. And this is a really important formula here. Pause this video, screenshot this right now. The way I make my offer is ARV times 85% or minus repairs. Or another way to do that is, let me fix this here. ARV minus repairs times 85%. Okay. This is going to be my option price. All right. And then my rent. And then my term. And my option consideration. Okay. So I'm going to give the seller, this is my A to B, and I'll be covering this in this, right here in this spreadsheet. I'm going to show you the spreadsheet next right here. But I'm going to give the seller an option price of, usually I get about 15%, 10 to 15% equity from the as-is value. So if let's say the ARV is 100, it takes 10 grand in repairs. The as-is value is 90. I'm going to try to make an offer at 85% of that. Okay. Now, here's the crazy thing. When you're making cash offers, you need to be at like 70%, 60 to 70%. We have a lot more room here. And most of the properties we deal with don't need much work. And so for my rent, I typically want to get about $300 a month in cash flow, about 25% of the rent. I typically try to get 5 years with the seller, and I have to put some money down with the seller. I usually do $0 to $1,000. Okay. All right. Now let's look at an evaluation spreadsheet. You get this spreadsheet here if you have the mind map, if you have VIP access. But I'm just going to walk through this. This is super simple. And you guys, if you're watching this, you can rebuild this. You can build this spreadsheet on your own. It's pretty simple. Okay. So what the first thing you got to do is find the ARV, or the after repair value. Okay. After repair value. Again, this is super high level. I'm going to be covering this in more detail in the making offers section day 3, but I just want to kind of give you a big picture of this. Okay. So let's say to find the after repair value, I do it simple. I look just at the average of like PropStream, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, ePraisal. Some of these, like ePraisal sometimes doesn't work anymore, but okay. Just let me do this. I'm going to get rid of ePraisal. There we go. So I just average them. That's typically how I find the ARV. I average whatever they're saying that it's worth. All right. So let's just say on this example, ARV is 175 grand. Let's say it needs about 6 grand in repairs. Let's say the as is value then will be 169, and the market rent is $1,400. Okay. So if my minimum criteria for equity is 15 grand and my minimum cash flow is 25%, this is what I'm going to offer the seller. This is my A to B offer, right? My A to B offer. I'm going to offer the seller 143,000. Now you could change this to 12% if you want. So I'm going to now offer the seller 148,000. You can play with these numbers. And let's say I'm okay with 20% cash flow. So I'm going to offer the seller 147. I'm going to give the seller 1,100 in rent. I typically do 1 month's rent for an option consideration to the seller and 5 years. Okay. So this right here is my offer to the seller. The house is worth 175, but it needs 6 grand in repair. So the as is value, remember, is 169. Now, here's the crazy thing, guys. This is what's awesome about lease options. I can negotiate with the seller on 4 or 5 different things. When you're making just a cash offer, you can only negotiate the price. But when you're doing lease options, you can negotiate the rent, the down payment, the number of years. So let's say the seller says, I can't sell it for 147, but I can sell it for 155. I say, okay, well, maybe I can get you 155, but instead of paying 1,100 a month in rent, maybe I'll pay you 900 a month in rent. Maybe instead of 5 years, let's do 7 years. You can also negotiate rent credits. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to turn around and sell it to a tenant buyer at a higher price. We're going to sell it on the B to C. A to B is our contract with the seller. B to C is our contract with the tenant buyer. Okay. And so what I like to do then is I'm going to advertise the property in 2 or 3 years for a higher price. So I'm going to charge just a 5% premium. I want to set the seller up. I want to set the tenant buyer to win. I want them to buy the house. All right. So I'm going to charge 5% premium above the as is value. The tenant buyer is going to do the repairs themselves. Okay. I'm not going to do any repairs to this house. This is so important to understand. And I'll talk again more about this in day 3. I'm just doing high level real fast right now into this. Okay. You guys picking up what I'm laying down here? All right, good. You are. So I'm going to advertise the price, the option price for 177. Now it's worth 175 today fixed up, but I'm going to sell it to them in 2 years for 177. That's going to be a really good deal. And they're going to fix the house up themselves, which is basically, if it's 6 grand in repairs, it's just carpet and maybe a little paint. I'm going to rent it to them for 1,400 because that's the market rent. I'm going to get 3% down from the tenant buyer. I'm going to get 5,300 down, and I'm going to give them 2 years. So what's my profit? Well, my cash flow on this deal, I'm going to make $6,700 a month. What's that? That's the difference between what I'm paying the seller and what I'm collecting in rent from the tenant buyer. My back end profit is the difference between what I'm selling it for and what I'm buying it for. And I also have, then I'm just figuring in 3% miscellaneous costs here. So my profit on this deal, guys, $31,000. Okay. Did I go out and get a mortgage on this? Did it matter what my credit was? No. I'm going to make 31 grand on this deal. Now I have to pay the seller $1,400 down, right? Does that come out of my pocket? No. I'm going to pay that seller that $1,400 after I collect the $5,300 from the tenant buyer. So there's no money out of my pocket. I'm going to make 31 grand on this deal. Now, if the tenant buyer can't buy it, in 2 years, I'm going to give them another year. If they have to leave, then I'm going to find another tenant buyer to move in. But every month, I'm getting $200 to $300 a month in cash flow on this deal. Okay. And there's more in this spreadsheet. I'm going to walk through this later. But when I'm talking to a seller, I say to them sometimes, listen, I'm going to get you the same equity you would get if you sold it with a realtor. Now, there's various costs that sellers have to go through when they're selling their house. They're going to have, on average, you're going to have to give a discount, but it's a hot market right now. So let's do 0. They're going to pay 6% realtor commissions. They're going to have about 1 to 2% in closing costs. They're going to have to do some repairs to get it ready to sell. In this example, they're going to need to do about 3% or $5,000 in repairs. Sometimes they're going to ask for seller concessions. I just sold a house recently, and I put about $40,000 into it to fix it up, but there were still some things that needed to be done. The buyer got an inspection, and there was a big long list, just stupid minor things, but I just didn't want to deal with it. So I told the buyer, all right, I'll just give you a $3,500 concessions, just like you fix it, take care of it yourself. So you're going to have 1 to 2% in seller concessions. You're going to have carrying costs. And you're going to have some miscellaneous things to inspect. So on average, the seller is going to walk away with 15% less than what they originally sold it for. Okay. So I can show the seller, listen, if you fixed it up, you listed it for 175, you're going to have about 26,000 in expenses. That means you're going to really walk away with 148. You owe 140 on it. So your true net equity is about $8,700. I'm going to talk more about this, in my course and things like that, but you want to show the seller what their true net equity is. And I tell the seller, I will get you that $8,700 if you're willing to wait for it. Okay. And you can see, I almost do it right here where they owe 140. I'm going to give them 148, 147, as long as they're willing to wait for it. I'm going to give them the same equity they would get if they sold it with a realtor. And you can walk through these examples with them. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to show you, and I'm going to walk through that in more detail but do you understand this? The A to B and the B to C. Okay. There's a lot of little details in there, but I just wanted to walk you through that. Okay. It's important to send an offer to every seller you talk to in the mail, in the email. This is really important. And the follow-up is really important too. And I'm going to be talking more about this as we go. Now you get a seller to say yes, you got to advertise the property. We're going to be talking about this on day 5. You're going to mark the property up. You're going to put it on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Zillow, Bandit signs, and you're going to use phone numbers from not REI Simple, but from FreedomSoft. They're the same thing. You're going to build your buyers list from that. So we'll be talking more about that in day 5. Cool. Now there's contracts. Let me show you just real high level. You're going to have an initial contract with the seller, and there might be some other things that you're going to fill out later on. You need to do a seller's disclosure statement, an authorization to release information, memorandum of option, limited power of attorney, and a letter appointing management. Okay. With the tenant buyer, you're going to have some paperwork. You're going to need to sign a new lease and a new option agreement. They're separate with the tenant buyer. Okay. Oops, where'd I go here? And you're also going to have some other miscellaneous things. Sometimes I let the tenant buyer pay their 3 to 5% option deposit in payments over time. So if I'm doing that, I'm giving them a promissory note for the rest of their down payment money. And there's lead-based paint. And if they have pets, I do a pet addendum. Okay. Now, all of those contracts, they're in my main course. But those are kind of the high level view of the contracts that you want to have with them. Now, remember I talked about this before. You want to make $10,000 a month in cash flow in 3 to 4 years or less, doing just one deal a month. Just do one deal a month. Let me show you what we have here. This is a little spreadsheet I put together. And let me zoom in so you can see this. All right, let's say the average ARV on a house is 200,000 wherever you are. And again, this is going to be different if you're in California or whatnot. But let's just say it's average 200. Let's do 250 because that's, I think, more closer to the average. In fact, let's just do this. Average median home price in the USA. 269. Do you see that? All right, 269. This is important to understand. We want to stay in that median price range. Here's a simple formula. You can only sell homes people want to buy. So you don't want to do lease options on really junky properties. You don't want to do lease options on really expensive homes. The pool of buyers in those areas and those price ranges are very, very small. You want to stay in the sweet spot. Okay. So let's say the average ARV is 269. And so let's say we're doing an average of 13% equity. We want to have, you could even do 12%. And let's say your average cash flow is $300 and you're doing one deal a month, 12 deals a year. Well, so the first year, you're going to be getting $3,600 a month in cash flow. You're going to have about $387,000 in equity. That's a real simple formula. 12 times 32. Okay. Year two, you're going to have $7,200 a month in cash flow and $774,000. Now, this is figuring you're not selling any of them. If you sell one on year two, obviously your cash flow is going to go down, but you're going to be getting a nice, big, fat $32,000 check. You understand? Okay. And then year three, you'll have $10,800 a month in cash flow. And you'll have about $1.1 million in equity. Now, that's if the tenant buyers don't buy any of the homes. So usually by year 2 or 3, you're going to start seeing some of these tenant buyers actually closing on these homes and buying them, which, cry me a river, right? You're going to lose that cash flow, but you're going to be getting a big $32,000 check. Does that make sense? You can make this conservative. Let's say you're only getting 10% equity and you're not, I try to shoot for 15, but let's say you're getting 10% equity. My gosh, you see how easy this is, guys? One deal a month. You're going to have $10,000 and you're going to have $968,000 in equity in 3 years. This is just one deal a month. And Maria is absolutely correct. Your tenant selection is so important. You have to screen your tenant buyers thoroughly. Yes, exactly right. I'm going to show you how to do that. And also, the more money they put down in their option deposit. Well, that's not true. She says here, the more money they put down in their option deposit, the less likely that they'll. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right, Marie. I'm sorry. I read this wrong. Marie makes a really good point. The more money they put down up front, and usually I get 3 to 5%, the more likely they're going to take care of the home. Because if they don't take care of the home and they don't pay the rent on time, they lose their option to buy the house. Okay. You see why this is a win-win-win for everybody involved? All right. Just wanted to show that to you. And again, I'm not guaranteeing or promising that this is going to happen, but this is a typical deal. Okay. Yeah, I already kind of walked through that in the spreadsheet. Cool. All right. So I have some homework for you guys. I want you to post in the Facebook group. What is your big why? Remember we talked about this in the beginning. What is your big why? And who are you doing this for? Is it for you just want to pay off your college loan debt? Maybe you want to get enough cash flow to pay off your credit wouldn't it be nice if you could just get a couple of these deals and have the cash flow pay your monthly credit cards payments? Wouldn't that be, oh my gosh, what a kind of a difference would that make in your life? If you have a $300 monthly credit card bill, and for some people, that's not much. For some people it is, but you just found 1 or 2 deals that paid your credit card payments, or 1 or 2 deals that made your minimum college student loan payments. Okay. Then you wouldn't have to worry about taking care of that anymore. It just, your deals paid your minimum payments. What kind of difference would that make in your life? Okay. And then when one of those deals sells in a couple, 3 years and you make 30 grand or whatever, you can pay the loan off. Oh my gosh. Some of you guys have $75,000, $100,000 in student loan debt. Okay. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but some of you have maybe just $30,000, $50,000 in student loan debt. Guys, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of these deals can take care of all of your student loan debt. So I want to know from you, what is your big why? It's your family, your kids. Maybe you want to get a family. You want to get kids. You want to be financially stable so you can get a wife. You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys are like, man, you'd make a great husband, but because you're nice and you're good looking and you got 6-pack abs and you'd make a great husband, you'd make a great father, but like, you're living on ramen noodles. And what kind of woman would want to marry somebody who has no financial stability? I don't know. Maybe that's stupid. My wife would be mad at me for saying that, but like, what if you could now have some more financial maturity? Some of you are typing in your whys right now. So this is real good. So what are some of your big takeaways? I just want to encourage you guys to comment in the Facebook group, either below this video or make your own new post. Talk about what's your big why. What are some big takeaways for you? And I also want to ask you to watch the YouTube videos I gave you earlier. Those YouTube videos are 15 minutes long or so, but they're going to give you a really good, I walk through some example deals. I'll walk through the steps. And those are going to be really helpful for you. And I also want to encourage you to read my Simple Lease Options book. If you have the mind map, you just click this link. The link is also in the comments. This is my Simple Lease Options book. This comes from my webinar. I'd encourage you to just read it. Okay. There is a pitch at the end to buy my course. You should buy my course because I walk you through step by step how to do these deals. And I give you your money back after you go through the class. Not kidding. I give you your money back just by going through the class. You get your money back. All right. So that's your homework. Cool. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how to do the marketing. I'm going to show you how to get leads. Cool. Let's see, anything else? I don't think so. I think we're good. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, don't forget, if you want the VIP access, lifetime recordings, lifetime access to the recordings, so I'm taking these down at the end of the week. If you want the mind map and all the documents, the spreadsheets and all that stuff that I gave you, there's a link in the description above or below this video where you can get VIP access. Sign up for that. I'm removing VIP access on Tuesday night. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, starting in a few minutes here, I'm going to get us something to drink. I'm going to be doing an extra Q&A call for the VIP members. So in just a few minutes, again, we're going to end this live right now. And then we're going to go into the Q&A. This is important to understand. Guys, listen, if you are one of the VIP members, we're going to be doing the Q&A in the Facebook group. We're going to be doing the Q&A in the Zoom meeting. So if you registered for the Zoom meeting, you need to join our Zoom room. Does that make sense? So I'm not doing the Q&A here. I'm going to be going live in about 2 minutes in our Zoom room, and I'm going to be answering all your questions in there. We're going to have everybody up there. So, make sure you're dressed appropriately. Turn your webcam on, and we're all going to be in this one big room together, and I'm going to just answer all your questions. Okay. So a lot of you have been typing some great comments in here. Really appreciate you guys. And I'm hoping to talk to some of you in the VIP group in Zoom. Does that make sense? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you did sign up for VIP and you don't know how to get to the Zoom room, email support@joemccall.com, support@joemccall.com, or text 636. What was that number again? Here it is, 636-249-1510. 636-249-1510. And somebody's already asking, how do I get into the VIP room? Check your email, okay, because you should have registered for that Zoom room. And the link will be in there. Or email support@joemccall.com or text support at 636-249-1510. Thank you, Joe. You put it in there. Tom is asking, are you going to replay this video? Tom, this video will be up the entire week in the Facebook group under the announcements section. All right, guys. So I'll see you VIP guys in the Q&A Zoom meeting room in just a couple minutes. I'll be there in a little bit. I'm going to get something to drink, and I will see you there. Good. Nick says, I have the email with the Zoom link. Awesome. We'll see you guys in the Zoom room. Appreciate you all. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.